Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is game 3. And you know what, Smacks? It's getting a little too hot in here after that game 2. So I don't know about you. Actually, you know what? I'll have to do it in a bit because it's kind of hard to do. No, I got it. I got this. Woo! Okay. Jackets off.
You know,
We got this.
Rafa undressing on the LCS stream is not something that I thought would happen today.
Stop. Shush. Moving on.
Here we are.
Game 3. That's not. You're taking that out of context. I'm literally just taking off my jacket. Everything is A-okay here. Immortals Academy brought it back in this series. And we're going to a game 3. Pretty and Keith were incredible on the Marksman Champions here, Smacks. So, if you're Evil Genius's Prodigies, what are you looking for in terms of adaptation for this third draft?
Well, before we get to what they did, I want to take this time to compliment the adaptation that Immortals brought to this game, where our main criticism for them after game 1 was that they just didn't have enough damage packed into their composition. And the second criticism was that they didn't have a lane that Joey could escape and then go roam elsewhere with, right? And they solved both those problems. They have this double marksman composition, particularly Keith on the Xayah is very well suited against the full melee top Xayah that we saw from the Prodigies. And they didn't stop there either. They had some more damage packed into the rest of their composition too. Tapoon on this Gnar was playing very well, despite his early deficit that he was unfortunate to have as we got to see him die right there on our screens as the 4th time. But yeah, they really did shore up a lot of those weaknesses, and I'm really excited to see what the Immortals can do if they can keep up that momentum. But to answer your initial question, Rafa, for Evil Genius's Prodigies, I feel like they could have still won this game, but they like I was saying at the end of the game, their game plan was just to click on the health bars, and it got them 11 kills. But then after that, they died like 15 more times without finding any kills of their own. So it didn't really work out. As you can see on the screen, there was 11-11, and now we're seeing that it's 21-11, and Evil Geniuses kind of just fell apart.
Quite the stark difference there. We had more than a kill per minute in this game, as we got to close to somewhere between, I want to say, at least 40 kills by the end of the game here.
I think it's 40 exactly, yeah.
40 exactly?
Yeah.
It's Joey makes one more engage here. Yep.
And there it is. 40.
Wow, exactly 40. Well, I tried. For Immortals Academy, math was not only on their side, but also their skill. They, like we said, we cannot sing enough praise about Pretty on that Lucian there, Keith on the Xayah as well, because as you pointed out, Smacks, this was a game that was very reliant on the marksman being able to carry, but for Immortals, they had 2. So they had double the opportunities, double the chances to being able to come out on top, and both of them playing incredibly well. Also, it's just, once again, Joey being able to lead those engages from time again. It was something that when we were doing our prep for Immortals Academy, we noticed that whenever Joey does have priority in his lane, he's able to find advantageous roams, or at least he's able to respond and be super active on the map. And even in times when Mist had the first roam, Joey immediately responded and beelined it in response and was able to find counter engages that were super advantageous for Immortals Academy.
Yeah, Potluck too. Potluck was right behind him and ready to respond to any of these plays that Evil Genius's Prodigies were trying to go for, not to mention the early jungle priority that he was able to get for himself on this Lilia. He stole away those Raptor camps a whole bunch of times, and it worked out really well for him too. I was very impressed with the adaptation that Immortals Academy brought to us in Game 2, and for Game 3, where I'm not sure what side they're on. Maybe production can inform me on that one, but if they are back on that blue side, it seems like this Lilia first pick is working out pretty well. If that doesn't get banned away, it looks really nice for Potluck. And it seems like the problem really just becomes if they don't pack it with more damage to capitalize on those sleeps. They did it in Game 2. They didn't do it in Game 1. We'll see if they do it in Game 3.
And if you're EGP, I wonder how much of a priority or change up you want to throw at Immortals Academy by banning away the solution. Because
right.
it, rather than banning the Xayah, Keith could have probably done the same thing on a number of similar ADCs. There was a ton that were taken away from Shiro, with respect. But, Lucian and Tristana, which, the latter still being a champion that has been banned in both games, both champions that could be flexed either in, technically either the solo lanes or, in the bottom lane as well. So, Lucian having a lot more power than the former marksman, just being able to provide that for Immortals. And even though, Pretty had put in games on Lucian, did not get a stage win so far until today. And now he's showing why. He's like, hey, you know what? Just because the win record ratio is not necessarily my favor, don't sleep on it. Don't disrespect it. I've got a nasty Lucian.
And Tapoon is rejoicing as well as we do get into the third draft here rather shortly, because Evil Geniuses did select blue side. So that same counter pick threat that we saw from Surdy in that top lane, it's not necessarily as possible on blue. So for Tapoon, yes, he did completely pop off in the late game, and he made it look like he was in the counter matchup himself in those late game fights with how well he was playing, and he even got that 1v1 as well. But the early game did not look fun. I do not envy him for having to play out those first 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, but props to him for being able to turn it around, and especially with the amount of suffering he had to undergo. But Champ Select for Game 3 is up and ready, ladies and gentlemen. So we're about to get ready for the last game of the day, the last game of Week 1 here at the Proving Grounds. It is going to be the match point for either Evil Geniuses Prodigies or for Immortals Academy. The winner will move on and face up against... Oh my gosh,
Dignitas Academy.
Dignitas Academy, thank you. My mind was blanking because I know it wasn't No Org, because Barrage is going to be playing against No Org next week after their win against Team Liquid Academy. So Dig Academy, awaiting to see the winner of this series, to see who they shall be prepping for. And already out the gate, EGP on blue side, taking away the Gnar, taking away the Lucian. This already opens up the jungle pool, mind you, Smacks, for the taking, as both Udyr and Hecarim have not been banned yet.
You can see the Evil Geniuses Prodigies did not like the champions that IMT picked in the last game. 2 of them gone. And yeah, they can start to first pick some of these very powerful junglers. All they have to do is not ban one of them. Maybe they ban Lilia too. That would be a pretty nice one to remove from Potluck's pool. Okay, they removed Udyr. Now Immortals can ban Hecarim, and you...
I think
okay.
EGP want to set up for Lilia then. That's the only...
Tell me
either they say...
often.
We'll see, because you're right, Smacks. At this point, it's like either, okay, you let the Hecarim pass. Oh, the Thresh pass. Okay, well... Party Pony up and available for Tomio.
All right, nice call out from Evil Geniuses Prodigies that Mist's Thresh was more threatening. I like that one a lot. It does leave open this Kai'Sa and the Rel combination that Keith and Joey are going to go for, and you can't go for the same the Thresh Aphelios answer that we see from time to time. We can see, though, Shiro's Pocket Samira come out in this game, Rafa. This does pave the way for it, and look, they're hovering it. It's a really nice answer into the Kai'Sa. You have some mobility to get through the Rel crowd control, and there it is.
Damn, Smacks. It's almost like you're a color caster. You know your job. Good job.
I do my research, bro.
Yeah, research and homework definitely paying off here for us on the desk today. EGP.
Alistar.
Now. Let's see. All right. Your guess is Alistar?
Oh,
not quite. Not quite.
That's pretty solid pick, too. Blind pick, mid lane, the mage. That's pretty good.
Yeah, before the mid lane options start to go down, as one of the things that made Pretty so empowered was the fact that Syndra and Orianna are available. Aspect just wanted to take the former off the table, as I believe Pretty has a higher win ratio on Orianna. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but
that is correct after today. Yes,
after today. Immortals Academy, though, see that Volibear is still up on the table, and it's a powerful flex pick, so Potluck or Tapoon will be piloting this champion. As now, hey, it's not an Alistar pick, but you did call it out, and Immortals Academy are on the same wavelength as you, saying, you know what, we should ban that champion.
Yeah, the other big one here for Miss is going to be something like a Nautilus. So if they want to just double down on support, they can ban that one too. It's a nice pair. With Samira, the Dredge line is really solid. Gragas is a nice one too, as you do have some nice leeway to bounce back the Rel engage. So I like that as a ban as well. But yeah, for Evil Genius's Prodigies, it looks like they will very likely be blind picking their top lane. And for IMT, this Volibear can go up there, but I wouldn't expect Surdy to lock in a champion that struggles against this too much, as they already have it. And it's very likely to be in the jungle, but Tapoon does have that in his champion pool if he wants to go to it.
And notice how EGP specifically take away champions that are not Syndra. And it just speaks volumes about saying, hey, you know what? We don't care about the Syndra. We already beat it once this game. We took the Orion into it. You couldn't do much with it. And so Immortals Academy throwing down the gauntlet saying, all right, we're not going to go for the Syndra. You're absolutely right. We're going to go for the Sylas instead. So far, the best ultimate that you can take, though, this early on is the Hecarim ulti. And so this does prevent EGP from ever locking in a Malphite, because you don't want to give them a free unstoppable force ultimate at all.
I am rather shocked that they did choose to ban away Alistar if Immortals' plan was to take the Sylas, as Sylas really likes having access to the Unbreakable Will. And would you look at that, Rafa? It is going to be the Nautilus paired up with the Samira in the bottom lane. Been personally practicing this duo quite a lot with my good friend Alec Battery in that bottom lane. Recently hit Diamond with it in that duo queue. That was with you as well, Rafa. So.
Yeah, I was part of that climb.
Yeah. We had some fun over there.
That's right. Woohoo! You know, for washed up boomers like us, you know, Diamond is the achievement that way.
Yeah. I'm only 22. I think some of these players are older than me.
Are they? Maybe. We'll have to double check. Maybe Keith, but
a lot of them are younger than me. That's 100%.
Oh yeah, I mean they're definitely younger than me. You're 22. I'm 25. So you know, I'm definitely the oldest person in the room here. But for Immortals Academy, Aatrox is going to be the answer into Surdy's Renekton. Tapoon being able to pilot this champion means that he's going to have powerful team fighting access between him and the Sylas. If the Sylas is able to grab the Onslaught of Shadows from Tomio or the Death Charge from Mist, you have powerful team fighting abilities to set up Keith for success on this Kai'Sa to be able to follow up with that Killer Instinct.
Two things from this draft, Rafa, for Immortals anyway. Joey has a champion that he can leave lane on. They've got a lot of damage. When that happens, Immortals look really good. So we'll see if that can happen again. We'll see if that trajectory takes its toll on the Evil Genius's Prodigies in this third and final game, or if they can pull through with this Hecarim Orianna combination and the Samira bottom lane that we've seen them perform so well on all throughout this year.
And EGP, Immortals Academy, match point for both. Game 3. Their chances of being able to continue their upper bracket run is on the line, but not necessarily permanent lives, as there still is a lower bracket to run through for the loser. Immortals Academy already just taking a 5-man defensive fan. We did get an early ward from both Joey and Mist. Both are getting in their recalls now, so they can swap out to their trinkets, or the sweepers, I should say. We'll have to see how well this vision pays off and what kind of information both teams are able to glean from their junglers.
Just a reminder that the winner of this series plays against Dignitas Academy and the loser against Wildcard Gaming. So lots of stuff to go off of on either of those two teams. And the same is true of either of them for prep against Evil Genius's Prodigies and Immortals, because both have been long, grueling best of threes that have gone to 3 games. Unless this one is just a stomp, but with the way that TA has gone, I can't imagine that that is going to be the case, Rafa. We're seeing both junglers start up on this top side of the map. Tomio, leashless, Potluck, not giving that same availability to Tapoon, but does mean that he gets to clear out his camps a little bit quicker immediately anyway. I can't imagine that it'll stick around too long, as Hecarim is very quick with that.
I have to say, Smacks, I'm actually, this is just a small little thing that I love when junglers do. We already talked about being able to self-leash yourself, as this gives priority to all of your laners to have first access to the wave and controlling them. But also Tomio doing something that I don't see a lot of junglers do that often. Normally, a lot of people know that you can leash blue buff and Gromp at the same time, but usually that's when you are coming from the red side and Gromp and blue buff have already spawned. But the way that Tomio kited the blue buff towards Gromp and being able to do both simultaneously at the same time while still being level 1, just it's a small thing, but it increases the clear speed in the level 4 clear time on this Hecarim. He already has a fast clear speed to begin with, so him taking that extra step to essentially optimize that clear time means he's going to be hitting this crab way faster than Potluck, or at least be level 4 if Potluck is not going to opt in taking this Gromp before the crab spawns.
You're seeing that Potluck is already trailing behind for Tomio, even despite that leash in the top lane. And for top especially, Surdy's got this really nice wave setup where now this wave is pushing into him. He can go for a freeze knowing that both junglers are going to be down on that bottom side of the map, and he will have some time on this island alone. Now, Potluck makes his way over to this. He does have that smite for the Gromp, so he actually does get here a little bit earlier. It doesn't look like Tomio is going to be too bothered by it, because he saved his Krugs for last, so going up to the top side to get that grab.
So Tomio looked like he had already forfeited the idea that he would be able to compete for the crab, since Joey and Keith do have push priority here, which is why even though he finished his Krugs way before Potluck finished the Gromp, he just beelined for the top crab, just conceding, not even wasting a beat.
Look at this, he's going for the Krugs on spawner, maybe a top gank with the Ghost.
Tapoon has to potentially burn Flash. He's going to flash towards the teleport as Pretty just got a recall in. Tapoon will fall, and it's a first blood for Tomio. Now to follow-up TP coming in from Aspect. They might be able to route off Pretty. He's already burned his Flash. He's already burned the teleport, and it's a disaster for Immortals Academy. Double kill for Tomio.
This is why you don't give Tomio these champions, Rafa. There's a teleport coming into this top lane. Tapoon not wanting to miss a beat up here, but Surdy and Tomio have already accomplished all they need to start this snowball off right. And this is a wave that Tapoon could potentially freeze on, but Renekton's no longer an issue. Renekton already did all that he was supposed to in this early game, Rafa. He already got a double kill for his jungler, and that jungler is Tomio and Hecarim.
We've seen what happens when a Hecarim gets ahead this early into the game. It just means a faster chem tank completion, and even though we meme about it saying ever since the beginning of that item completion, talking about, oh, it's just full tank Hecarim, that, you know, it doesn't do that much damage. I mean, the faster he goes, Smack, the more damage he does. So it really is just a win-win when you're playing Hecarim, and it explains why he is one of the best junglers in the game right now.
Yeah, just a crazy item on that champion. I was a doubter initially. I'll admit it. I was a doubter. I liked the Sheen procs, but I was a silly goose. I'll say that too. I'll admit it on the LCS broadcast. Smacks is a silly goose. You can go tweet about it.
Yeah, at SmacksCast, you're a silly goose for thinking Chem Tank Hecarim was bad. But it's okay. Tomio's going to show you the truth. He is indicting Potluck into the Church of Turbo Chem Tank. He doesn't have the item quite yet, but he has components. Meanwhile, we have the 2v2 River Skirmish. Joey, already dismounted, is going to go down to miss. The last Ignite tick coming in to clear. Keith trying to follow after Shiro, but decides not to burn the Flash, as he's going to need a way to escape from Tomio. Miss collapsing back, and he chooses wisely. Keith will be able to save his life and a bunch of HP on the back end of it, whereas Shiro probably going to have to recall, but he does have Miss here to ensure that he can get one last push.
Sure has to use both of his summoner spells. Keith does too on the backside of that one. Can't quite find that kill onto Shiro because the style bar is just fully maxed out. A ton of movement speed there for Shiro. Able to walk out, and we get a replay on this one too, which is good because a lot happened in this one. We're seeing Tomio route the jungle mid duo of Immortals. Meanwhile, Evil Genius's Prodigies are looking elsewhere, trying to kill Joey, who is dismounted on the Rel. And touching on movement speed of Shiro, if you're dismounted on Rel, you have 325 movement speed, and that is mathematically not a lot.
I think that's less than, or that's the same movement speed as Karthus. if I'm not mistaken. It's very little.
Or actually,
As
I
Aspect,
think it's 250.
I was about to say it's like 325
I
sounds
was
pretty
overshooting it.
standard. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
that's my
definitely on the
bad.
slower side, but still, yeah.
250 is what the number actually is.
Now that
Maybe I was
is very
accounting
slow.
for boost. Look at that! Look at that win wall right there. By the way, he eats Pretty's ultimate. That was awesome.
Well, Tomio has plans for Top Hoon in this top lane here. Surdy getting the slice and dice and just ripping him to shreds. Potluck is here. Flash Stormbreaker looking for the chomp onto Surdy. Gonna take down the Crocodile.
Tomio also ghosts to get out of that one, not wanting the sustained fight against Volibear, and now Potluck gonna be able to push in this wave. You can see that he's already up quite heavily in this game as far as the jungle camps are concerned. Able to clear out on a little bit more than Tomio in this game, despite being a little bit slower in that regard. But Tomio, again, is a lot more focused on finding these kills and finding these ganks, which he does yet again in this top lane. Tapoon dies for a second time, and we get to watch it a second time. As Tomio has the Hecarim ultimate. There it is.
Producers, whatever you do, please don't replay this like 2 or 3 times. Don't, like...
We've already bullied Tapoon enough.
Yeah, we don't need to do that.
This is not reverse psychology either.
Yeah, please, just making sure. I'm also saying that so that Smacks doesn't get any ideas. Where Tapoon and Surdy duking it out back and forth. Actually going to force Surdy out of this lane here.
Tapoon finding some sort of advantage in this top lane is really notable for him. We mentioned how he's been just constantly bullied, not only by Surdy but also our producers in this series, and he was able to scale out tremendously well and be super impactful in the team fights later on in the second game where they did win. And now we're looking to see if he can do that yet again in this game, trying to proxy Surdy and get some chip damage down.
Potluck doesn't have Stormbreaker, but yeah, I think this is just enough damage from between Tapoon and Potluck to be able to turn it around. Surdy making a case. It's enough. All right. Well, Surdy did buy enough time to trade 1-to-1 back on the Tapoon, and Tomio taking this opportunity to get the first dragon of the game.
Again, another really late dragon into this one, almost 10 minutes for the first dragon, but it is secured by Evil Genius's Prodigies, who are still in control of a 1,500 gold lead, and just a nice response out of Evil Genius's Prodigies as a whole. Again, we're seeing a situation where if the Prodigies can get Shiro to be the most fed member on the Rift, it's going to be really difficult for Immortals to do anything about it, because a lot of their damage does come from just fully assassinating him, but he's very mobile. Nice flash.
Aspect does have flash, but Pretty's going to follow up. Oh my god, beautiful stuff from Pretty. It's not going to be enough. App's going to abduct into the sombrero with the Orianna stolen shockwave. Does put a lot of damage on the Aspect, forcing him out of lane. He does have TP, so he'll be able to come back and not lose that much in terms of tempo, but still. Nice attempt from Potluck and Pretty. Did have to expend both of their ultimates for it.
I have to say, Rafa, Game 3 Immortals Academy is looking like a completely different team from Game 1 Immortals Academy. Not only just because their draft has way more damage packed into it, but I think they are just playing much more quickly because of the way the Evil Genius Prodigies are acting in this series. And I am all for it. I am all for the more aggressive style here from Potluck, especially in this jungle, going for all of these early ganks. Speaking of jungle ganks, though,
Tomio finds Tapoon once again, getting the devastating charge, and Tapoon has nowhere else to go. Surdy slices him up, and we have Potluck answering a response, but doesn't seem like he's going to be able to find any retribution for his fallen top laner.
No Rift Herald up there anymore, as Potluck was able to take that one for himself earlier. Half the charge is run out, still looking for where he will be placing it. This is a really nice play from Keith, by the way. This is one of the benefits of being an island AD carry on red side. You can just go solo the Gromp, and you can get all of that healing and mana restore back for it. Feels really good.
Feels good, man. Next dragon of the game is going to be spawning in about 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Missed, just going for the flash, knowing that Pretty doesn't have, I guess, any easy way out, but it does get the knockup onto Joey as collateral damage here. Tomio picking up his 3rd kill of the game.
Mist set his sights on Pretty with the depth charge, but I quickly realized that it was Joey who was significantly easier to kill, significantly less mobile as well. So really like that turn onto the support. And this does lead Evil Genius's Prodigies to find their 7th kill of the game. They're again keeping up this tempo very, very quickly, and this is really what we expected from the Prodigies coming into this series and coming into the Academy games as a whole. We were seeing that, historically speaking anyway, Academy teams are rather reserved and rather calculated with how they play the game, mainly because their regular season is comprised of mostly best of ones. But now that they are in a setting which is only best of 3s until we get later, then it's best of 5s, we're seeing that they can play much more fast and much more loose.
Stormbreaker coming in to follow up onto the depth charge. Shockwave is not going to be enough, but Tomio with the reinforcements might be able to get enough damage back onto Pretty. Pretty's trying to self-sustain with that Kingslayer, but it's not enough. The 4th kill of the game for Tomio. The Rift Herald was also spawned by Potluck, but Tomio might just be able to take it down before it even gets a charge, as Surdy did opt in for a 1v1 against Top Hoon. Both top laners expending their ultimates in the trade.
And these teams are making mid lane look like a 3v3 lane with this one. All the junglers, all the supports, all the mid laners fighting constantly in this lane. And you see Potluck attempting to go for that play in the mid lane and attempting to even drop the Rift Herald too, but Genius's Prodigies are so fast to respond that not only do they get a trade kill in response, but they don't even get any platings with the Herald. It's a complete failure on that neutral objective for the Immortals. They only get that initial bump in experience and gold for killing it. They don't get any plates. So really nice response from Evil Genius's Prodigies. Nice mitigation for that early objective take. And speaking of objectives, there's another one up in 20 seconds, and it's a Mountain Drake.
With the way that the game has been playing out, despite Top Hoon still having his way with the laning phase, being the focus of Tomio's ganks, he's going to be able to keep Surdy in check, but as long as Surdy is able to get out of this lane and provide utility and facilitate the rest of his team for success in these dragon fights, then Top Hoon's advantage will not be enough here for Immortals Academy. It's the second Mountain Drake. Tomio just being so far ahead on this Hecarim. Gonna just be enough pressure for them to secure it. And the rest of Immortals Academy, Potluck already going over the Baron wall and gonna try and take some camps away from Tomio while he has a chance.
And I want to touch on the top lane one more time, for now anyway, maybe later. But remember what we were talking about after that first top lane gank, where Surdy got Tomio a double kill up there. And I said, that's all he needed to do. Now, he's a successful Renekton. Now you just go for these fights, and Tomio's super unkillable.
Yeah, well, Top Hoon might have other answers on the aspect, but because he flashes away from danger, like you said, Smacks, hey, that's all he needs to do. Surdy can still flash stun Top Hoon into place, and then Tomio, I should say, follows up, has the damage. Smacks.
There it is. That's all you had to do. Surdy, he's just a stun bot for Tomio in this game. He's just got to click W and then click the enemy team members. In this early game, it's going to work so well for Evil Genius's Prodigies, and this is why in the draft, I was so surprised to see this Hecarim go through at all. Prodigies were banning out this champion and the Udyr for a reason. They are just so devastating. And we're seeing it play out on our screens yet again. What do you do to Tomio in plays like this? What do you even do? I don't know.
I'll let you finish the answers to that question, because I'm looking to you for the answers here, Smacks, as Immortals Academy scrambling to find one. Down 5,000 gold at 17 minutes, almost 17 minutes in the game here. What's up?
He has 2 items before Aspect has 1.
Oh my god. That's,
well, you know, Tomio might make the next week's Fast Five, but I don't think Aspect will in this game. His jungler is certainly the focal point of this one. 6 kills on the Hecarim, Rafa.
We talked about at the top of the day, EGP. 2 primary carries in this squad, Shiro and Tomio. In the first game, oh wait, Aspect. My friend, good night, Aspect. Just stepping a little too far forward. Don't tell me it's not enough. It's not enough. Aspect still manages to survive. Ignite not even enough. Oh my god.
They're playing Leapfrog with the shockwaves up in that top lane, and also all the crowd control from Joey. Meanwhile, top laners are doing top laner things.
Well, Surdy, can he match up against Tapoon? He
got a lot of
technically has a
fury.
Gore Drinker. He has a lot of fury. He has the sustain.
Oh.
Is it enough? Oh my god, it's gonna be close! Aspect! Off the back of it to add insult to injury, being able to survive the 1v2 against Joey and Pretty, then comes in for a 2v1 of his own, aiding Surdy in the kill against Tapoon. Smacks.
Top laner things. Just clicking each other.
This is what I have to say, though. We are about a 6,000 gold lead in advantage for Evil Genius's Prodigies now at the 18-minute mark. For Immortals Academy, all hope is not lost yet, because Tapoon is still somewhat able to take it to Surdy in the solo lane, but as we actually see potential kill that happened here, Keith was able to escape certain death. Rift Herald crashing, taking down that second tier turret. Keith having to burn the flash there on the backside of that one.
A nice movement as well to dodge out from the dredge line. And while Keith hasn't really taken a very active role in this game, he is still playing this Kaisa. And while this is a champion that only gets better the stronger that your frontline engage is, and Myrtles don't really have a strong frontline engage at this time. They're down rather heavily. He is still a very threatening champion. Kaisa, excuse me, is still very threatening on the damage side of things. This Kraken Slayer is coming through. He will be making his way toward his evolutions in a matter of time as well, and that is still something that Evil Genius's Prodigies have to think about. Albeit, I don't think it would be very difficult for them to deal with. They do have a 6-kill Hecarim with 2 items already. So if Tomio decides that Keith gets to die, then it wouldn't be too difficult. Or will it? Because, Keith cannot play this. I've got some faith.
He is yet to die, so he is still farming up. He has more farm than Shiro, technically. Although it be a small amount, it still is significant. Keith has not finished his second item quite yet, but with the Kraken Slayer and the double longsword, I imagine. Is he working towards that serrated dirk there, Mr. Smacks?
He could be. He could also be going for
Lord Dom.
the Lord Dominic's. That's a possibility as well.
That would probably be better, especially against a very fed Hecarim in this game, who has, like you pointed out before, rushed Thornmail as his second item. Already working on a Dead Man's Plate as well, I believe, with that Chain Vest investment. More movement speed, more armor, as Pretty just does not do a significant amount of magic damage for Tomio to warrant buying any magic resist.
Oh, I've got some bad news for Keith. Shiro, as it turns out, despite being down in CS and despite not having any kills of his own, just received a bounty over his head because he has accrued enough gold from the global objective gold that Evil Genius's Prodigies have been picking up to where he is that far ahead of Keith without even participating in the Hecarim shenanigans.
He does have one assist.
He does have one assist, so he participated in one shenanigan. I've never said that word singularly. That's interesting. I don't know if I like it.
We can go back to the drawing board on that one. We're discussing casting theory. But for this game here, EGP, we're looking to start with the Baron. Don't really find much off of it apart from drawing Immortals Academy to the flame that is this giant purple worm. They're looking for vision control and vision denial as Mist. It's going to be seeing Keith and Joey walk by. Pretty also en route to potentially catch out aspect, but he's going to be walking off, so it's more just a, hey, back off, please. We want to farm and catch these minion waves as Immortals Academy are just trying to find opportunities to get back into this game. Being down this amount of gold means that it is not ideal for them to pick 5-on-5 team fights. They have to look for opportunities elsewhere.
I want to mention, too, that despite Evil Geniuses having an astronomical lead in this early game of Game 3, they are not doing what we saw in Game 2. They are not just going in face first, not a care in the world, and hoping for the best, hoping that they can find some kills in this one. No, they're not doing that at all. They are playing this out very reserved, waiting for their spikes, and now that they have their spikes, Tomio can just charge in and take what's his, which is everything. I really like this adaptation from Evil Geniuses Prodigies. You can really see in their gameplay that they knew that they messed up in the last game. They knew that they could have possibly won that game if they weren't so headstrong, and they're making the change in this game. They're playing more reserved after getting all of these kills, which admittedly was not very reserved with the way that they were getting the kills initially, but now that they have the lead, they are just choking the lights out of Immortals and making sure that they do secure their spot in the winner's quarters.
Well, I actually want to continue that point as we do have some time. There's not going to be another fight for a couple minutes as this Infernal Soul, I would imagine Immortals Academy, if they've opted out of a lot of fights so far, I imagine they're not going to opt out of this one. For Evil Geniuses Prodigies in Game 2, they were constantly fighting for getting or securing a lead back into the game, right? And because they kept falling behind, I never think in those situations that there's a discussion about whether if you're behind, if it's better to play safe or to continue fighting and looking for picks. And I'm more of the opinion that if you sit back and do nothing, you're just going to bleed and you're going to choke out of the game. You know, obviously there's certain win conditions that you can play to and hope that the enemy team will, you know, give you an opportunity to get to those points in the game. But, you know, I feel like for EGP's composition game 2, I mean, you had like, what, Nidalee? Nidalee's not scaling anytime soon, and the AD carry that they were sporting, which was the Ezreal, it's not like he's going to be a monster the later the game goes on. He was strong, but there's not like a Kassadin level 16 win con that you're waiting for. So I think, you know, EGP just continuously looking to look for a fight was probably the best play that they could have done. And this time around, now that they have the lead, they know they don't need to throw it away. They need to be the ones that are more reserved, and it's up to Immortals Academy. The onus is on them to actually look for a play, because otherwise they're going to be the ones that bleed out.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Rafa. You are a genius. And now, here comes that fight that we were waiting for.
Don't flatter
around the Infernal.
Don't flatter me like that. I just want to... I like to have these discussions, you know, while we do have the time. And obviously, we'd love to have these discussions with anyone else, you know, so...
We no longer have the time.
Nope.
the dragon is up.
Spawned. Immortals Academy now posturing forward. Oh, there's a flank from Pretty, but he popped stopwatch and he doesn't have enough time to pop the Onslaught of Shadows. I mean, he did, but he didn't get very far with it. And now Sturdy and Tomio are going to lead the charge onto Keith, Joey, and Potluck, using the Stormbreaker to try to just get the hell out, but it's not going to be enough. Flashing, or actually, it is enough. The Blast Cone saves him over the wall. Bear's going to be able to get away, but you know what's not going to get away, Smacks? The Infernal Dragon, and it's the Infernal Soul being picked up for EGP.
There's a nice ward there from Immortals, but unfortunately, they forgot to survive the fight. You know, that's being a little bit mean. They tried. Evil Geniuses Prodigies is way too ahead in this one. That is going to be the soul. And now Mist is really trying to protect this ward. Doesn't do so.
He flashed over the wall, just trying to keep Tophoon in place as... Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. That's a lot of teleports, Rafa.
Well, despite Tophoon's best efforts... Oh, wait. I just want to give credit where credit is due. Tophoon was the focus of EGP both Game 2 and Game 3, and was able to still handle himself well in lane, down multiple deaths. But EGP just really don't want to let Tophoon have fun or play this game at all, as just whether you call it, respect for how powerful of a player Taopoon can be if he is not checked, or just cyberbullying from EGP, hashtag live evil, as they're going to find Pretty once again in this replay.
Yeah. Immortals Academy, they try for this pincer, but EG just have so much vision that they spot this out way too early on. And for Pretty, he's just not strong enough on his own to do anything about it. He will just fall in the end. And Immortals can't even get off the ground with their flank that they were attempting. You can see the Taopoon. He's like, guys, I'm ready to go for the flank, but they're already killing the mid laner, so never mind. I'm just gonna go over and try to ward the Baron. Oh, they're all here too? Alright, I am also going to die. And for Immortals now, it is feeling more and more like they're going to have to make a loser's bracket run in this one against Wildcard Gaming in about a week's time, Rafa. They got to show us some really cool sides of them, but yeah, at this point, this is just a very spooky horse from Tomio, and he is running all of you over. He's at the horse derby, and he is winning the race.
I mean, the two big differences in this Game 3 versus the Game 2, not only Tomio being super accelerated this game, as he was in Game 1, but also Pretty on the Sylas did not get the advantageous start that he was able to get on the Lucian in Game 2. And so he has just, quite frankly, been a non-factor in these fights. He's able to take a priority. Yeah. Well, Shiro already flashing in respect. Now Potluck has been routed off. He flashes over the wall. Gonna have to run back to the health. Oh no, Keith, you have no more protection, no more abilities, and no more ultimates from the rest of Immortals Academy to protect you from that depth charge. Keith is gone. And EGP are looking to run Immortals Academy out of their base, back into their fountain, and out of the upper bracket as just Immortals Academy trying to fight back. Oh, wait a minute. Pretty getting a lot of healing down, though. Aspect, Tomia have all fallen. It's the first step of the game. But Shiro says, nah. We're ending this game right here, right now. A triple for the young AD carry Prodigy in Evil Genius's Prodigies. And EGP will continue their upper bracket run, facing off against Dignitas Academy next week.
Immortals Academy gets some shutdowns by the end. They ruin Tomio's stats by killing off his perfect game, but unfortunately it's just not enough to close out the series with a win. Evil Genius's Prodigies just looking so dominant in their victories today in this series, Rafa. Very impressive stuff from the second amateur team that we got to see win over Academy in the same day. That's a 2-0 record for the amateur side of Proving Grounds, Rafa. What an astounding statement to make from both of these squads.
Yeah, and it's not like these teams were slouches either, right? I mean, we already talked a lot about the Team Liquid Academy and Barrage set, that it was a tremendous feat and quite frankly, a huge step up in an overperformance and just massive stuff from Barrage. But for Evil Genius's Prodigies, this was, for the most part, a close series. Game 3 definitely looked more devastating in EGP's favor than, it did in, Game 1. But, Immortals Academy did not give it to them easily. The Game 2 win for Immortals Academy showed how dominant they can be when Pretty and Keith are quite accelerated and able to handle themselves. And honestly, even for Wildcard Gaming, who will be the opponents for Immortals Academy, they're going to have to pay the same respect to Taopoon as EGP definitely did in all the amount of attention they were giving. But just throughout this game, Tomio, the man on your screen, getting this Hecarim and just immediately, quite literally, Smacks, running away with the game.
I would also, to add on to what I was talking about the amateur teams being victorious today, I would like to add to everyone that with today's results, there are as many amateur teams in the winners' quarters as there are academy teams. I'm just going to relish in that one for a bit. It's 4-4.
So I'm
just going to sit here and let that one resonate, because
that
is incredible.
No org.
I'm so astounded by the performances of Evil Genius's Prodigies and Barrage and the other teams as well, as you were getting at Noorg and Zeus.
That's right.
This tournament has been absolutely incredible, and this has just been an amazing day to close out this first round of it.
Right, and what's important here, Smacks, is that these wins by the amateur teams does not signify or symbolize that the academy teams are worse.
Oh no,
that is not the narrative that we are trying to paint, and that is not what we want folks at home to think when looking at these performances. This should be a celebration of the fact that the amateur teams showed up. They came to play. And for academy teams, you have to also remember that the only best of 3 experience that they have had so far throughout this entire Proving Ground circuit season was in a third-party tournament for Arena of Legends. The regular season was all best of 1, so they don't have nowhere near as many as the best of 3 experience and stage experience as some of the amateur teams coming in. So for them, I wanted to be clear that there is no shame or toleration of bad-mouthing any of the academy teams here today. The teams that you see getting into the upper bracket earned it. They played and fought well. They deserve to be here, but it doesn't mean that it's the end of the road for the academy teams and the other amateur teams that are in the lower bracket now, because they have a second life. And so some of them, like Team Liquid Academy, are going to be very, very headstrong about making sure that they are not shut out early.
Yeah. I'm just celebrating this competitive tournament that we have on our hands.
Absolutely.
It's gonna go on all throughout the month of April. We're not even done. We still have 3 more weeks after this. So I am just floored by the games that we've witnessed, and I'm super excited to talk to the player that we have for our interview for Evil Genius's Prodigies.
Yes, we do have Tomio on the line for our Verizon post-game interview. Tomio, first of all, congratulations, my homie. How did it feel getting Hecarim and just running away with the game?
I can't hear anything.
Oh, you can't? Oh, no. Tomio can't hear. Tomio, where art thou, Tomio?
I can
you
hear
can
now.
hear?
There he is!
What's up?
My headset broke or something.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Hello.
Well, first of all,
So,
hello, man. Congratulations on the win. I was going to ask you about your Hecarim game, but actually, you know what? I see there's a Pikachu in the background there. Is that can you show it off for the fans here?
you want to show that?
What you got?
I
Yeah,
got
dude.
It's I have 2, but like I'll just show this one because it's cleaner.
Is it a bank?
It's a bank.
Wait.
Woo!
I mean, it has like 1 penny in it, but it's just for the looks, aesthetic.
Whoa!
Oh my god, you have one too? That's crazy. So I'm kind of like.
And then I have one too. No, I'm just kidding. That's crazy though.
Those things are awesome. That's much like your investment into the top lane, you are making wise financial decisions here in that game 3. So tell us, how did it feel being able to get the Hecarim and, run away in the game and just having that gigantic snowball for yourself?
I mean, I guess like Hecarim's OP, so they left it up. I was like, we'll just first pick it, I guess. Champ's kind of OP, and then the top lane was kind of inting, so I just quit. I was like, oh, what is this guy doing? And then we just killed him like 10 times in a row. But yeah, I guess that's how we got our lead. I don't know. Basically, yeah.
It's that simple there.
Yeah.
Were you guys expecting that they were going to leave up your Hecarim? Because I certainly wasn't. I was expecting that they would ban that away in that game, because even you guys banned it away. You're like, I don't want to play against this champion, but Immortals seemed like they did.
I don't know if we're expecting them to ban it or not, but it was just left open, so we're like, we'll just pick it. I think they should have banned it. Champ's like way too OP, I think.
Yeah.
Well, so then
you definitely made it look like that.
Yeah, no, for sure. Respect Tomio's Hecarim, guys. If you're digging Toss Academy, take notes. But, going into game 2, I do want to kind of go into that one, because that was the one loss that you guys dropped over to Immortals Academy. What were comms like and the post-game mort for you in terms of discussing what you guys needed to do in terms of adaptation going into game 3?
What's post-game, like after the game?
Yeah.
Oh, so basically, I mean, I'm pretty sure we're like ahead that game. I think so. And then I think we like just kept throwing like doing stuff for no reason, and it just escalated
Mhm.
because their comp was way better. So we're like, the next game we should just take it slow, relax. We don't have to rush. We won like both early games in game 1 and game 2. We could do it again, I guess. And then we're like, yeah, we don't need to do too much. We just gotta chill because it got out of hand after like I died flashing on Lucian. Like it just escalated down.
Yeah.
We had to focus up for the last one, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, we could definitely tell that's what you were doing in that series, and in the last game too. Just congratulations on that third game win. I have to ask though, we got to see a lot of action up there in that top lane. How did Surdy feel about all of those kills and ganks and action and deaths happening up there, and you having to go up and help him out all those times?
How did I feel? I mean, I felt good because we got kills, but I'm pretty sure when we killed him, like it was just like good job, or like I feel that much affection study because we're like focusing in the game. We're like in the game in the moment. We're like, yeah, I guess it's good for top lane. We got TP advantage, or no? Actually, we like doomed his wave after, but overall,
Sure.
pretty sure he felt good. Strong state of Renekton, getting the resources. I'd feel good for myself at least if I was playing Renekton.
It's definitely nice to receive a lot of ganks and love from your jungler. So shout outs to Jet for being a good sport and
Jet.
setting up Tomio
Mhm.
for success there. I've got one more question here for you, Tomio, before we let you go. Looking forward into your matchup against Dignitas Academy, do you have any words for Acadian or the rest of the squad?
Should be a good game. I'm confident in winning, and I'm gonna run Acadian.
Okay. Oh, okay. Not.
No, you gotta be
You can say
confident,
it.
man.
Yeah, come on.
I'll run him.
If
I'll
you
run
can-
him. I'll run him.
All right, all right, all right.
When
There we
is the
go.
game?
The
Like
go-
next week?
next week.
Yeah,
next week. You got the
Next
whole
week,
weekend to
okay,
prepare, my
next
man.
week.
All right, Acadian. Well, you've heard from Tomio. Says going to run you. We'll see how it pans out. And Tomio, before we let you go, is there anyone else that you want to shout out before or for your victory today?
I like to shout out my mom and dad. Without them, I wouldn't be here.
Oh,
I like to shout out my teammates. Without them, we wouldn't win the series. It's 5v5 game. So without them, yeah. I like to shout out the coaching staff, Idol, Empire, and I'd like to shout out Johnson, my boy, Fly Johnson.
okay, yeah. Shout outs to Fly Johnson over at FlyQuest. All right, thank you so much, Tomio. Congratulations again
Thank
on the
you.
win. We'll see you next week against Dignitas Academy.
Okay, see you next week.
All right, feels good. We pressured him into flaming Acadian.
It's not flaming.
That's
It's
pretty
just
nice.
banter. It's banter,
okay.
Smacks.
Okay.
It's, you know what? I'm like, Acadian will be a good sport about it. You know, they'll banter back and forth, and then whoever wins, right? You know, that's what we need more, especially. You know, we like hope it's a good game. Nah, man, just get the confidence, Rylan. You know, I want to see some fire between these two
Live
teams.
evil.
Hashtag. You're right. He lives under the brand. Hashtag live evil. You could just say, yeah, it's part of the brand, man.
There it is.
It gives you a
Perfect.
free pass to flame or do any type of banter before the games. But, Smacks, I would love to continue harping about the games, but we have reached the end of today's show. This is the end of week 1 as well for Proving Grounds. Next week, we will begin the second week and looking towards the lower bracket run, as well as I believe we'll be getting ready for the quarterfinal matchups for the upper bracket as well. Round 2, day 5 of Proving Grounds will start on April 6th, 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you so much to everyone for coming out and watching these amazing players all compete today. Shout out to the production as well and our lovely observers for the games today, as well as my boy Smacks for joining me on the cast. Have a good night, everyone.